If you're looking for a mid to lightweight HEMA Sabre to complement your saber fencing, this might just be the one for you. Keep watching for a full review of the VB Swordshop HEMA Sabre Light. Hi, I'm Peter and welcome back to History and Saber, the channel where I talk about HEMA, history and swords. Today I've got another review for you. This is the VB Swordshop HEMA Sabre Light. VB Swordshop is a Hungarian company that's been around for years and years, and this is their HEMA Sabre Light offering. So quick disclaimer right at the start, I bought this with my own money at the Drein event in Vienna, Austria, which is a large international HEMA event. And the VB Swordshop was there. I picked the best one that they had, in my opinion, and I got a €20 discount. So the regular price, also on their website, is €290 now at the beginning of 2024, at the time of filming this video, and I got it for €270. Now, for my long-time viewers, you know that I mostly do raw earth, so British military saber, and for that reason I've been using this for the past 3 or 4 years now, which is the Kvetten Armory slotted hilt saber with a slightly shorter blade. An awesome all-around saber, which I'm going to do a long-term review of quite soon. But sometimes, you know, for events or sparring nights, you just want a lighter saber. And this is where this comes in. I've been looking around for a lighter option to complement my sparring for about 2 years now. And I've tried the Sigi, which is a great saber in its own right. It never really clicked for me. This here is basically where I've arrived now. So next up, let's go through the sword from bottom to top, as I usually do, and at the end, let's talk about who it's for and what I actually think about it. So when I'm talking about a light saber, I don't actually mean sports fencing lights. We're still doing historical saber fencing with steel swords, and the overall mass of this training sword is pretty much spot on 650 grams. Mine is just over that at 652, and while it doesn't have a lot of profile taper, it does have quite a bit of distal taper for this kind of training sword, which makes it very nimble in the point and gives it a very light handling. So it handles light, even though it's 650 grams, which is not the lightest, but it feels very, very nimble, and I would call this a light saber from how it feels. So working our way up from the pommel, as you can see, it has a threaded nut at the bottom. Then you've also got a pommel cap, so a very minimal pommel, as you can see here, very small. Then you have a leather grip, black leather grip, which is quite a nice size. So you've got 12.5 centimeters of inside space for your gloves. We're going to look at gloves in a second. The profile at the back of the grip is nice and flat, as you'd want with this kind of saber. And at the top here, near the guard, you have this kind of ribbed section for your thumb, which is actually very comfortable. And I think the grip shape in general is very nice. And on the inside, you can see that this black leather is stitched or glued together here down the middle on the inside. And compared to earlier VB swords or sabers that I've handled a couple of years ago, I think the grip shape has improved. It used to be a very pronounced V shape down the middle to the inside, which I really didn't like that much, but it's less pronounced nowadays, as it seems. And yeah, I think the grip is quite nice. Now, as for glove space, I promised you to talk about gloves. We have the almighty Red Dragons, which fits in there really, really nicely. No problems at all, as you can see. But since nowadays people are using the Red Dragons less and less for steel saber, which is a good thing in my experience, I'm also going to show you the Thokk Weapon Master gloves, which a lot of people are using nowadays. And even with the Thokk Weapon Master gloves, I can have a very nice and comfortable thumb up grip in there. Keep in mind that these are the size. Small gloves, your mileage may vary. So moving up to the bowl guard, which is hardened, fortunately, because it is not very thick, which of course saves weight. And it's also not reinforced around the edges, but it is hardened, and for the time that I've used it, which is probably 1 or 2 weeks now, it really hasn't taken any damage at all. As for blade length, this has an 80 centimeter blade, which is a great length for a slightly curved blade such as this. For comparison, my Kviton slot hilt also has an 80 centimeter blade, which is 5 centimeters shorter than the standard Eastern blade, just a bit more curved than this, but if you compare them, it's almost exactly the same length. So 80 centimeters is what I'm used to anyway, so this is a nice blade length. Okay, so the tip up top, we have a rolled tip, which we've seen in HEMA for years and years. Now, some makers have gone away from rolled tips towards spatulated tips, and basically the difference is, as you can see, this here is rolled to make it blunt at the tip, and a spatulated tip is basically just a widened point instead of a rolled point. Now, some people prefer the spatulated tip for safety reasons, but rest assured, VB Swordshop has a spatulated option for this very saber. It's a separate product on their website, and the only difference is the point. You can have a spatulated or a rolled point. Now, handling. In short, I think it handles very nicely. This is a very simple design, a very simple construction, but put together, the grip shape is nice, the leather is nice, you're not going to slip off the grip, it has nice friction, the hardened shell is also nicely proportioned, offers good protection, is also symmetrical, which is relevant for left-handed people. Also, it has this leather, this circular leather washer on the inside of the guard, which offers a bit more comfort if your thumb slips towards the guard maybe, so you don't smash the tip of your finger. Also, the blade is a nice design. I think they've managed to bring out a very nice product here that doesn't look high-end, but it actually performs very, very nicely. Now, where does this sit in the market and who is it actually for? Well, first of all, you've obviously got the Reginier Light HEMA Sabre, which I personally don't love. I think this does a better job at what it represents. My main gripe with the Reginier Light specifically has always been the mass distribution or point of balance. I think the mass is way out towards the tip, which makes it a little bit clunky. Well, not clunky, but a bit unwieldy maybe. I don't love that, and I think the VB Swordshop does a much better job at balancing mass and the point of balance itself. Then you've got the Krieger historical weapons, HEMA Sabre, the S2 and the S6, Krieger from Poland that is, which is a similar offer, also similarly priced to this and the Reginier Light at about 300 euros. I think you're getting a similar kind of user experience and product as this here with the Krieger. Then of course, the Sigi Sabre Pro, which I've reviewed on the channel, is also an option which is more expensive. It has very nice finish, very nice design, looks historical, has a really nice protective bowl, it has a very nice backstrap, a really nice overall saber. But, in hand, I'd go for this. I'll tell you how it is. I don't think the Sigi is bad at all, but I wanted a saber specifically to complement my slightly heavier saber, and I don't think the Sigi Pro does that for me compared to my earlier type slot hilt saber for British military saber fencing. The Sigi doesn't do it for me. This is a nice alternative that handles great, and this is the one that I eventually went for. Of course, you can go for the Kveton Eastern, the normal one with the bowl guard and the 85 centimeter blade, which is a heavier saber than this. So if you're looking for a mid to lighter weight saber, this will not be for you. One more thing, VB Swordshop also offer a fullered version of this saber. And when I tried the different sabers that they had with them at the Drein event very recently, where I bought this, I tried the fullered ones, I tried these ones, and I tried the straight bladed one. And out of all these variants, I liked this one the best, by quite a margin again. Now, I don't know why the fullered one didn't feel as nice to me personally as this did, but they didn't. So balance and handling wise, I went for the standard HEMA Sabre Light with no fuller, as you can see. And also I think it handled better than the straight bladed spadroon type blade as well. I don't know how sample variation is going to play into it if you decide to get one of these sabers. Now, I chose the one that I thought was great, but I don't know if the one you might want to order is going to feel as nice as this. I really don't know. You'll have to find out for yourself, and if you can, it will be best to catch them at an event and try them out for yourself. Now, who is it for? It's for everybody who is looking for a mid to lighter weight gymnasium-style saber for later saber sources, Italian, Austro-Hungarian saber sources of the latter half of the 19th century. I think this will be a nice saber to have, to try out. We'll see how it is durability-wise, but only time will tell. Now, I hope I was able to give you a proper overview of this VB Swordshop HEMA lightsaber. And yeah, on that note, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.